Hello and welcome to my channel. One of the things that I've been thinking about doing for a long time was to start this YouTube channel, and I've been procrastinating like crazy about it, as I've been off and doing other things with diecast. I've been a builder, an award-winning model builder, and not really settled down into collecting one thing or the other. Recently, well, I back up just a little tiny bit and state that I got into the customizing, and I totally stumbled on to the customizing of the Hot Wheels, the 1/64 scales, surely by accident. Close to 10 years ago, I had built a substantial redline collection, to which I turned around and sold off so that I could buy an actual full-size chopper, a motorcycle. And I'd gotten away from it. I still had kept some of my 64 scale Hot Wheels, and then I gotten back into building models, which I had done well. I went on a bit of a purchasing streak with larger scale, and because my eyes were getting bad from all the work I'd done and whatnot, so I'd gone to the very large scales, the 1/16 to 1/8 scales, and I still do have a couple of larger scale model kits kicking around, and most of what I had collected were rare antique model kits, and then that's when I stumbled on customizing. So it was very ironic, where I had bought large scaled model kits to help out my eyesight, and then here I scaled down to doing 64s, and actually I met, like, a lot of us that are doing this now on YouTube. We do it because we really love kind of what we're doing, and I think each and every one of us has kind of started out with that, finding that one car or something that was wrecked, whatever. I mean, and for instance, what I'm going to do now is what I'm going to go through, and I'm going to show you some of the pieces that I've worked on and customs that I've built, just as and this is an introduction to this channel. So we'll look at some of the stuff that I've done, and I can dig out some of many projects that I've got on the go that I'm going to I'll film the finishing aspects of them and walk and talk. I've got an awful lot of tips. I think the watching of the YouTube channels and that I've done, I see that there's a lot of people doing things that they haven't come across some of the tips that I have to offer, and that's tips and stuff that I picked up over the 40 years of doing model kits. So I think that you're going to be very surprised and very interested in what I have to show, because what I think that I can show and I can teach people is going to be a huge benefit. One of my biggest problems is a move that I'd done nearly a year ago really kind of set me back. A lot of my cars were damaged in that move, because it was kind of a last minute thing, and not to mention the fact that I'm into a much smaller space now than I was. I had a designated area at the last house. Now I'm more into like a 2-bedroom apartment. So it's a little difficult, and I have an awful lot of organizing to get done, and hopefully I can get things organized. I do work and a fair amount of hours, sometimes 5 days a week, sometimes long hours, and some days 6 days a week. So it does a little bit hard. I am also a published author, and I have 2 books to write this year and publish and get out. That's not what this is about, so I'm not going to go into any detail about the books. I'm not here to try and sell my books on this channel. This is strictly about my love of cars. Okay, so what we're going to do is I've got some of my cars set out here, and then we're just going to take a look. Now, this was the first custom that I'd ever gotten into, or that I had done, and this was an extreme, because what I was really trying to do with this car was to challenge my skills. This, now, we'll see, and hopefully the lighting is okay. I've got to get some, I'm going to get my lighting straightened out here a little bit, and I think there's a little bit of dust here on this one, so we'll just pull out our good old dust brush and give her a little bit of a dusting. This car was unique based on the fact that its roof, let's see, do I have something that I can point with here? Yeah, we'll just use the end of this here. Now this roof line here, and these pillars were totally, well, they were bent. They were bent extremely bad. And let's bring it up here a little bit more so that it's a little bit better to see. So this roof line here was actually folded right down. I do have pictures of it kicking around, and actually you can actually see the beginning or the prior to this. And I'm not trying to push my Instagram, but if you are interested, you can actually see this car prior to its restoration, where the roof was actually pushed right down. And I rebuilt these pillars. I did not take, many people take little pins and stuff like that, and they glue them in and they go from there, which was probably maybe a better way that I done this. But the way in actuality that I had done this, I'm going to try and get my lighting set here because I don't have a whole lot of light right now. What I had done is I had taken some thread and I had glued them top. Once I got the roof set to where I wanted it, I glued thread in here, attached the top and bottom with some super glue. I used a Gorilla Clear Super Gel. No, it's just a super glue. Gels, I find, create a weird effect. So anyway, I had put in some thread in here, and I used some bright red thread so that I could really see what I was doing. And then I just slowly took body filler for models, the Tamiya. It was the Tamiya that I used, and I slowly built up both of these pillars. I've taken a glass out of this just for this time being here. This rear here is not paint. I very seldom paint. I'm going to show you guys what I actually do with this. The wheels, there was a wheel swap, obviously. This was all blacked, and I had redone this. And this was actually done with, I wish I could get my light straight over here. This was actually done with foil. It's a chrome foil that's used in modeling, scale models. And both of these rear, let's see if I can get this set up a little bit better. I should get another light on here, but I think this will actually be okay. So both of these rear bumpers are foiled. It's a foil. It is kind of hard to work with it in some ways, and I believe that I also did the side exhaust. I did. So these side exhausts are foiled. The chrome on these is much better. I don't have a chrome pen currently. I do intend on ordering one so that I can get a gist of really how good that actually is. I have many things that I need to pick up and get organized so that I can really get back into this, doing this the way that I really would like to. So anyway, that's that car. If you're interested, you can check out the Instagram, which is a clickable link here somewhere on the channel.